Good morning and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I'm Jaimas, and welcome back to Fair Game. We are now on episode 7 of my Impossible Mission 2 for NES run, and we are rapidly closing on the endgame. There's only 2 towers left to explore, period, and 1 if we get lucky and get the music sequence on this tower that we need. So while we begin exploring this particular tower, let's talk about the robots and their AI a little bit. The easiest one to do a write-up on is SquatBot, because he doesn't really have an AI to speak of. He just extends and retracts at 1-second intervals. Following SquatBot in terms of simple AI is MineBot. MineBot will just roll back and forth, setting mines at preset locations. However, MineBot has a quirk that a lot of people don't know about. MineBot will go onto platforms, and it is possible for the player, not for MineBot itself, to raise or lower the floor, and put MineBot where he doesn't belong. You can also dump him with a platform override, or use a lift reset to put him someplace else. What he does from there depends on how much space he has. If he has enough space to roll around, he'll probably start setting mines again. If he doesn't, he'll just kind of chill out. Sometimes roll back and forth, maybe ponder the universe in his own little robot way. Of the various robots, PestBot has the most straightforward AI script. He rolls forward, if he encounters a lift, he boards it, he then uses it, then he continues to roll forward. If he encounters other lifts, he'll use them as well. This will continue until he can't keep going forward, then he'll turn around and start all over again. It is easily possible for him to get stuck by accident. BashBot and SentryBot are the standouts because both of them have unusual AI scripts that are specifically for them. The basic BashBot script, he just goes back and forth and pushes you if he runs into you.
Humans must be shoved. They must go down the stairs.
BashBot's main secondary AI script is a little bit more aggressive. He will immediately charge the player in this case if he notices them. In quite a few ways, BashBot is a lot more frustrating than SentryBot is. SentryBot will just kill you on contact. BashBot will absolutely screw up your game plan. You will occasionally run into the rare friendly BashBot that just pushes you back onto a platform or out of the room, but most of them will just try to kill you. And we've already reached the safe room. Nice. This is one of the easier ones, too. Also, do you notice that roadster up in the upper right? It looks like something my friend Neil would make. Jesus, the engine takes up the entire back half of the vehicle. How fast do you think that thing could go? This particular safe room is kind of interesting because how you're supposed to do it and how you will do it are 2 completely different things. What the game expects is for you to work your way over to the right, use the lift, grab a time bomb from the terminal, work your way to the left, carefully avoiding the SentryBot, and use careful timing to work your way past, plant the bomb, and grab the music. That's a way to do it, but that's not how we're going to do it. What we're going to do is that, instead of doing that, once we've accessed the room with the first terminal, we're either going to use a platform reset or do a tricky slide jump to get on top of this dual platform. We then take that straight to the top. Skips the majority of this area. We then search the car up here, then we grab ourselves a deactivator and a time bomb, and we then proceed to handle this the way we handle literally every safe room. And with that, we've gotten this done and just got to work our way back out. Once we've gotten the music, we can then use the remaining time in the deactivator to hopefully search that garage. We then make our way back to the terminal, use another lift reset, then carefully work our way back down, and search the car for the last item in the room. Impossible Mission 2 is a very quirky game, and one of its more prominent ones is how inconsistently difficult the safe rooms are. Some of them aren't too bad once you know the secret of how to make them work. Others are a bit more frustrating, like the one that we just had to do in Tower 2. Then you have ones like Tower 6's, and you're just like, wait, that's it? The safe rooms are one of the only fixed locations in each tower. They are always designed the way they are. Their contents in each run obviously differ, both in terms of the contents of the safes and what items are in the searchables in the room. And the room's location can be different. They can place it at a different location in each tower. But the actual room layout is fixed. And with that in mind, let's give it a listen to see if this is another duplicate or if we got the final one. And yeah, it's a duplicate. We have no more reason to stick around in this tower. On the positive, we now know exactly where the last piece of music is. It's in Tower 4. So while we search the remaining towers for what we need to move on, I'm going to go back to discussing the robot AI a little bit more. SentryBot has, by far, the largest number of AI scripts in the game. The most basic one of these just has it stand there. It doesn't shoot, it doesn't do anything, it just faces the player and is an obstacle. Though it will kill the player on contact, as always. A variant of this script will have it do the exact same thing, except it will shoot every few seconds. The stand still script also has a variant where it will shoot left, then shoot right, then shoot left, going back and forth between the two. There is also a variant of the stand still script where it will try to shoot you when you're in range. I'd argue that SentryBot's patrol script are where the real meat and potatoes of its abilities lie. In its most basic version, it's a lot like PestBot's AI in that he rolls forward until he can't anymore, then he turns around and starts it again. In the lowest level of the script, he doesn't shoot, but there are different versions of it that allow him to shoot at different levels and move at different speeds. There are even ones where he's scripted to stop, turn around, fire, and then continue on his merry way. SentryBot has the ability to move on platforms, but not on lifts, which does mean it's actually often possible to either get him out of the way or kill him with very timely use of a platform reset. The final SentryBot AI script is also the most obnoxious and is the chase script. In the lowest level of this script, the SentryBot moves towards you slowly and will just keep beelining on you. It won't shoot, but it will just never stop advancing. This one also has different levels of shooting, and there's one that is scripted to fire whenever you jump or fall. In this room, though admittedly we've blown both of them up with landmines, the SentryBot, if you notice, was using its own version of the chase AI script, and the BashBot, in turn, was using its own version of the chase AI script. If you notice, he'd patrol back and forth, but periodically he'd look right to make sure no one was there, and if you were, he'd immediately beeline to the right side of the platform. Similarly, if he saw you on the left side, he'd immediately try to bulldoze you into the wall. And that's pretty much everything I know about the Robot AI in Impossible Mission 2. Except for one entry. That's right, we have to talk about SuicideBot. So, following the last video, SuicideBot has been found. As it turns out, SuicideBot only spawns in one room in the entire complex. His very existence, in and of itself, is an Easter egg. He has been confirmed to exist in the Commodore, DOS, Atari ST, and Amiga versions of the game. Mercenary Cobra 1 is currently hot on his trail, and if we're lucky, we may have footage of this elusive robot soon, as well as more details about his AI. The most interesting part, however, is SuicideBot may in fact be in the NES version. As I said, he only shows up in one room in the entire tower. Now, that room spawning is a percentile chance, which implies that in the NES version at least, the reason we haven't seen him is simply because his room hasn't shown up in the rotation. I plan to look into it later with some hex editing knowledge and some knowledge of how the NES sprite laying works, but if I find a way to make him show up, I will show him on this channel. No joke, I'm really, really happy and also kind of amused that a game this old inspired some of my friends to get involved in what is essentially a cryptid hunt. And that doesn't just apply to me. If you have information about the elusive SuicideBot from Impossible Mission 2, please, by all means, contact me in the comments below. I will happily feature it in a video and also give you a shout-out. Let's see, some other quirks about the robots you might not be aware of. PestBot and MindBot will both respawn if destroyed. PestBot will always respawn, but MindBot won't respawn if his spawn location's been taken out. This is normally very hard to do because MindBot's mines essentially stop you from using your own, but it is absolutely possible. Of note, it's only in the NES version, to the best of my knowledge, that time bombs can blow a hole in the floor. In the Commodore 64 version, they can't destroy robots, and they cause blasts like, well, MindBot's mines. The blast will also kill the player in most versions of the game, though in the NES version, the blast won't kill the player if the time bomb has been placed in range of a safe. This also means that, as I said in episode 5, it is possible to take out a squat bot by using a time bomb in the NES version. You probably shouldn't, because usually he's part of a puzzle, but you can absolutely do it. I may actually do that in the last room if I can actually arrange it. Well, we haven't completely strip-mined every tower. We have gone through enough of it to have a reasonable assumption that we might be able to move on. So let's get everything together and use the code breaker. And yep, we have the code. The code is 250. The next episode, as we say, will be the last one. Tower 4 is devoted specifically to living areas. We have just under 2 hours remaining, so provided no major screw-ups, we're on a straight shot directly to the end of the game.